Welcome, everybody, to the Ever-Evolving Truth, our first ever election coverage. This is exciting for me. Right now, we do have Krista on with us, our one of our producers and also in charge of our website, graphic design, social media, stuff like that. Welcome, Krista.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Good. And Leah's here.
Hi.
Political junkie like myself.
Yes.
This is like our Super Bowl.
It is our Super Bowl. That is the best way to put it.
Yeah, it really is. We're going to be checking in with you guys in and out all day long. We're going to limit the segments to 20 to 30 minutes depending on how they go. Oh, look, Mounts just joined us. Hey, Mounts, how are you?
Hello.
Welcome. So we're going to be checking in with you, but we're going to limit the segments during the afternoon to about 30 minutes, I'm guessing. Some might go longer depending on the discussion and who joins us. We have a bunch of guests that are going to be coming on. Alex Bone's going to stop by, Jordan Thomas, or Jordan Henning, as you guys know him. Justin Everett from Big Facts is going to stop by, plus a bunch of other people. The whole team will be on later tonight. And then as it gets later on tonight, we're going to do a segment from 6 to 8. And then we're going to take a break for dinner or whatever. And then we're going to go from like 9 to 12. And then we're going to play it by ear after that. But we'll do a couple segments throughout the day and kind of just check in and see if there's anything going on, any kind of stories that we need to talk about. I know there's not a bunch, but there's a couple that I want to mention.
Jeff, you lost connection there, bro. Jeff's B issue. So I guess you're stuck with me talking until he comes back. Mounts, why don't you talk with me? You voted today. You went early this morning, and you wanted to be the first person in Robzonia. Were you? How did it go?
No, I absolutely was not the first person. I checked at both times, overslept, but I got in there and voted. I was going to say it's so weird. I was having a conversation with someone behind me, and I was like, wow, I've never seen this many people in my hometown voting. He's like, it's an important election. It's a, most important election in my lifetime. He was older than me. But then I'm not sure if we were on the same page. Like, I'm not 100% sure if he was like, if he was what side he was voting for, or what he thought was more important. He was like, I don't know if you saw this terrorist attack in Europe. And I was like, yeah. He's like, it's just too important to vote. We can't let this country fall apart. But then I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that
I agree,
sounds to me
100%.
That sounds to me like you both agree, but the fact that he brought up the terrorist attack sounds like maybe he wants a law and order president like Donald Trump.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, but I was just like, yeah, no, absolutely. Way too important not to vote. But then I was like, wait, he could be talking about Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. How long did you wait?
Not long at all. I waited probably 20 minutes, but so they split the lines up A to L and then M to Z, but usually there's not enough people for that to matter. It's just one line. And so I'm standing there, and then one of the poll assistants came over and was like, oh, behind me, starts going, are you M to Z? Over here. And then like 8 people went in front of me, and I'm like, wait, I'm M. I was in front of them. But after that, I got in line.
You never heard of Mega Mounts?
Yeah, you never. Obviously, you don't. I know I have a mask on. You don't.
Right. You don't recognize Vice Principal Mounts from Pookie in Paradise in the Ever-Evolving Truth. I'm a local legend.
And it's still funny because the same guy that ever since I've been voting, and I've known this guy since I was 12, is like the guy that checks in the M through Z people, and I'm like, oh, hey Frank, how's it going? And every time it's like he doesn't know who I am. I mean, this time I had a mask on, and they were asking for ID, and I was like, but it's just.
Only the first time.
That's what they said. They didn't ask me for. I was like, "Do you need my ID?" And they're like, no, you apparently voted in the last. I guess it's every 3 years or something like that. I don't know, but
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah,
I haven't voted in Pennsylvania a very long time.
But I was like, it's fucking Mounts, all right. Oh, sorry, I forgot we're live. I swore. Like, who I am.
It fucking matters.
Oh, right, all right.
Real quick before we get into our election coverage, before my mic cut out, it's fucking USB shit. I want to just mention a couple housekeeping things. If you guys need a break from all the politics today, go listen to our new episode. It was up this morning. It's about we do a deep dive into Bill Cosby's life. Great episode, really disgusting. So I don't know how much relief it is from politics, but it's not politics. So check that out. Also, if you want to participate today, let us know. Reach out to us. We'll be happy to send you the link. If you have a good internet connection, a quiet place to talk to us, we'll be happy to have you on. Doesn't matter which side. Talk about your voting experience today. Also, in that same tone, take pictures of yourself. Look, I've seen a million selfies already from the ballots, from the polls. So you're taking the selfies anyway. Take your voting selfie. Post it on whatever social media platform you like. Tag us and use the hashtag vote4 and ever. Vote forever. Hashtag vote4 ever. And that way we can kind of keep track of all the people that listen to this and what their experience is. But anyway, that being said, let's talk about Mounts. You mentioned your experience. Just to kind of give the listeners an idea, if you've never heard of Robizonia or Wernersville, they're small. They're not. I wouldn't even consider them they're suburban towns technically, but there's like an in between rural and suburban, and that's where we are. I've never in the history of I voted in South Heidelberg Township in Robizonia, which is not the same as Mounts' polling place, and the most recent elections, both the primaries and the midterms, I voted in this new place in Wernersville, which is a little bit bigger. Wernersville is a little bit more populated than Robizonia, and neither of those places have I ever had to wait in line, ever. Mm-hmm. I've been in and out in 5 minutes. Now, my parents left for the Outer Banks this morning. They got there at 7:30. They were number 96 and 97. 91 and 92. They waited in line for about 90 minutes. I got there at just before 10 o'clock, and I didn't get out of there until 20 after 11.
And what number were you?
I was number 247.
Oh, wow.
So it's moving kind of slow, but what I was thinking to myself, I don't remember, and I usually vote in the afternoon, I don't remember there being 247 votes cast at all, total in any election, even a presidential election. So maybe I don't vote towards the end of the night, so maybe there's a rush at the end of the night that I'm not aware of, but it is a lot for the morning. And that's the thing. The real way to judge this is there is no there was no line before. This line wrapped around 3/4 of the building.
Really,
which is just incredible to me.
Now, are they
incredible to me?
Are they social distancing properly?
Not properly. It's give or take. So so I've seen. This is what I saw. So I first get there, and there's really nobody behind me, and then it starts to slowly. Slowly the people start to add on. And then all of a sudden there was it seemed like a mile behind me and the line really hadn't moved much. But there was this old man. He had brought this little thing to sit on. It looks like he was sitting on a stick, but it was like one of those fold out chairs. And it looked like it doubled as some sort of cane or walking assistant. And he sat down on it and he fell over. Everybody rushed to help him. So there was a bipartisan act right there. No one asked are you a Trump supporter? First or anything like that. So we all jumped to help this old man get up. And then he was wearing a hat that, showed that he was a veteran. So we kind of ushered him further up the line so he didn't have to wait as long. So that was nice. And then I saw a couple people. I saw Angie, the nut job guest on Pookie in Paradise, who is a life coach, but has no qualification to be such. She was there without a mask, of course, just standing there looking like a fucking asshole. And then there was, this one woman who was just decked out head to toe in Trump gear. Make America Great Again, American flag hat.
Vote?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
See, they shouldn't. They should make her leave. I was forced to leave one year.
Really? She had a mask on that said Trump 2020, which it just made me want to vomit. I don't know why people just.
So it technically is not illegal in Pennsylvania to wear that. My friends and I looked it up this morning.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal.
It's frowned upon, and they could turn you away.
They could turn you away.
But it is not illegal.
They made me get out of line, turn my hoodie inside out. I had a Obama as my homeboy hoodie on, but that was in 2016. He wasn't even running, and they made me turn it inside out. And then I was able to vote, which is ridiculous. And wearing a
Yeah.
hoodie inside out is very uncomfortable. I just want to say that.
I saw a couple reports of this too, and I experienced this. As I got to the front of the line, there was a guy who he looked like he was volunteering or working for the polls,
Mhm.
and he was standing there and he was handing out a card, and I pictured this in my head, the exact scenario, and it ended up happening. Again, I might be psychic, I might be a witch, I don't know. But I walk up there and I imagine the scenario playing out in my head, and the guy. Well, first of all, I said, I made the greatest dad joke of all time. I said, "This is the line to get into Harry Potter world, is it not?"
Oh my God.
everybody laughed, and then he handed me a card. He goes, "Make sure you're voting Republican on the ticket as well." And I go, do these Republicans support and vote with Donald Trump? And he goes, "I believe so." I go, "No, thanks," and I handed it back to him.
Good for you.
But first of all, if you're volunteering at the polls, if you're working for the polls, why are you campaigning?
Yeah, I don't know why they're allowed to do that, but they are. I mean, they hand out these
Bullshit.
flyers. They're not supposed to say anything, but people do it all the time, even in the primaries.
Yeah.
I worked the polls at the primaries no, this wasn't the primaries. It was, I don't know. It was for the school board election, local. But like we had to stand so many feet away, and all we were allowed to do was hand out the flyer. We weren't allowed to say anything. So I don't understand how people get away with it. I don't.
Yeah, and when the second thing that bothers me here is where are Joe Biden's people? Handing out this shit. If there's a Trump person there should be equal representation. Anyway, that's what I noticed. But of course, in our little hotel, I didn't see any sort of poll watching or any kind of voter intimidation. You didn't see that either, did you, Mounts?
No, they there was no social distancing, but yeah, there was no poll. They were actually very helpful. But I mean, everyone had masks on. I didn't see anyone without a mask, but there's just a little room and everyone's just crammed in there. So it was like I was like, oh, there's no line at all. I'm like, oh, that should be good. But yeah, then you go inside.
Jam packed, and this could end up being a super spreader thing. This could.
Yeah.
Cases have already spiked to over 100,000.
I was thinking that this is going to be bad. I guarantee you, even if they try to social distance in the polling places, I don't think it's possible.
It's
eventually.
all day long. People just breathing, coughing, and sneezing, and shaking hands, and handing each other things back and forth, and it's touching the pens. They're reusing and reusing the pens.
I did laugh at that. They gave us a choice of gloves or Q-tips to press the machine, but then we had to sign the block to vote anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a new machine for me. I didn't remember it in the primaries, but like they used to have the old machine, and this time it was like they gave you a slip, you put it into the machine, it voted there, counted your vote then, and then you had to put it into another machine, and I guess then they have to match. I never saw. Maybe I didn't vote in the primaries. I don't know, but they said it was the same machine from before. But
I want to go. I want to get your thoughts, guys, on this this comment from Kelly Myers Miller.
Yeah, I put that up. I'm confused.
If you don't want law and order, that a problem.
What does that mean? What did he say? Why are you addressing that? If you're still here, please elaborate on that comment.
Please elaborate. I'll try to speak to it with what you're right. It is a problem. The fact that the president of the United States breaks the law every fucking day. It is a problem. And if you're voting for him, you're voting against law and order. So yeah, you're right. You're 100% right that it's a problem. If you don't believe it.
New comment, by the way, if you want to read that one. I think that's towards Mounts from our friend Rick.
Well, first we have Brittany Becker here. Hey guys, so I waited in line this morning, and most people didn't seem to be distant in line. I did not vote since I had to get ready for work, but will cast my vote after work. Everyone bundle up. You will be waiting quite a bit. Yeah, Brittany, it's been our experience too. Everywhere, everybody I've talked to, everybody I've seen, and have been waiting in long lines. Luckily, the sun was out late this morning, so it wasn't too bad. There wasn't a whole lot of wind either. So, but yes, be prepared to wait in long lines. Go early if you can, and do not get out of line. If you are in line, they have to let you vote, even if it's 1:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
do not get out of line. If you get there by 8, please stay. It is your vote. It is your voice. And then, good friend, Rick Greer. That is true. Yeah. How does it even work? Like, were you allowed to go vote in the primaries? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
Okay.
but good point, Rick.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Here's my son's mother. There was a handicapped woman who came and the line was wrapped around the building, so she thought she could go inside and skip the line. We were right by the door. People gave her looks. When she came back, we were just inside the door, and she said she was told she had to wait in line, so I let her go in front of me. Kindness is important. It is.
It is, Tina. Thank you for doing that. That was kind of you.
And I know that these places aren't really equipped for this kind of, foot traffic. So for like some sort of handicap access, but at the same time, like, people have to go to work. People are trying to vote before they go to work, after they go to work, before they have to pick up their kids, make dinner, shit like that. So it's like, where do you draw the line? Do you let these handicapped folks go to the front of the line and vote? People be waiting even longer.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it's an argument towards we should be letting people vote however they feel comfortable. Mail-in voting. I hope it's here to stay in Pennsylvania. I hope it eventually extends to all 50 states. But that's a perfect reason why someone should be able to mail in their vote. They're handicapped and they want to, they don't want to wait in line or jam things up.
Well, I just moved here, for those who don't know, from Washington State, where mail-in voting is universal. So I mailed in voted here because I'm spoiled at this point. But I mean, in Washington State, it's really nice. You get your ballot at least a month ahead of time. But even before then, you get like 100-page magazine of every candidate who gives in information, and they get in, they get one page of whatever they want to write about, which is pretty great. So you're forced almost into becoming an informed voter. So here, it would be great if we could do the same thing. It made it really easy, and mail-in voting is voter fraud. Fraud. Washington State actually has listed every case of voter fraud that they found in the last 20 years, and there's maybe a dozen cases. You can look into each report. So
I think we talked about this on an episode of, I can't remember what it was, but we discussed this with you because we had you look up, not voter fraud. I forget.
It was
the numbers.
After mail-in voting was instated.
How many Republicans? Yeah,
but
and it was
started by a Republican and then stayed on as Washington State's very Democratic. So
right, so it's a Democratic state, but I do think that that's part of the reason why we won't see it nationwide for a long time, because I think it's primarily
a Republican.
The Democrats would win. Yeah, a Republican started it. That's good to know, but I think it leans towards the Democrats. I think so. I could be wrong.
No one's perfect, but Washington State seems to have it done pretty
well. The numbers,
right?
I mean, the numbers prove that it leans towards Democrats, which is why they're trying to discredit it at every turn. So we've been seeing long lines. We haven't seen a whole lot of any sort of voter intimidation, which is good. I also noticed that when I was, now granted, again, it's a small sample size, but I noticed that there was a lot of people. There's a few people in front of me that was surrendering their mail-in ballots. So that could mean that they got them late, or that when they requested their mail-in ballot, they were 100% for it and they wanted to give it a try. However, with all the misinformation campaigns out there and the attempt to discredit the whole process, maybe they didn't feel comfortable and they decided to surrender their vote. Or surrender their ballot and vote in person. Me personally, I requested a mail-in ballot, never received it. I went to my county elections office, had them print out a new one, and then I took it to the polling place. Since I'm here, I much rather my vote count tonight. I want a decision tonight, not shaming anybody for voting mail-in. That's perfectly fine. You deserve to vote however you feel comfortable and however you wish to do it. But it could be days, it could be a week before your vote is truly counted. And then I didn't want to take any risk if these mail-in ballots that are counted after Election Day or come in postmarked by Election Day, if any of them are contested. I didn't want to risk that whatsoever, so that's why I chose to do what I do. So, if you are listening to this, if you're worried, if you requested a mail-in ballot and you didn't get it yet, you can still vote. Go to the polling place, even if you don't have your ballot and you can't surrender it. You can sign an affidavit that says, you want to do a provisional ballot. You fill out a paper ballot, you put it in the secrecy envelope, and then they take it in tonight and they verify that you didn't already vote, and your vote will count.
And
So,
those of you
can
that
vote.
want to, yeah, and if you want to scream that that's voter fraud or voting twice or whatever, it's not. They're
Mm-mm.
going to make sure there's a reason it's a provisional ballot. Don't say that people are trying to, don't try to do that. Like, these people that are voting, we're all voting one vote, and mistakes will happen. I get that, but I just see it happening. Oh, Democrats voted twice because they had provisional ballots. Like, that's going to be the kind of stuff that happens if Trump loses tonight.
Yeah, I agree. It's and it's like it's almost idiot proof, because
Almost.
there's a barcode on your mail-in ballot. So if you've never voted by mail or requested a mail-in ballot, you wouldn't know this, unless you ask somebody or talk to somebody who has, which they're not willing to do. The people trying to discredit this, or believe the people trying to discredit this, there's a barcode, just like you would scan something at the grocery store. Like, you scan the barcode once you vote. If you mail in that ballot, they scan the barcode, it updates in the system. It shows you voted. So if you then go to vote at your polling place and they, scan the barcode that's next to your name, they're going to say you can't vote because you already voted.
Right. And if it somehow gets through, they're going to find it at some point. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's no voter fraud.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So I want to play this. I don't want to be negative all day, but sometimes it's just so hard not to be. We're already seeing voter intimidation happening this past week. We talked about, the Biden bus. We talked about Trump supporters jamming up the bridge in New Jersey, which it looks like the FBI is looking into the stuff in Texas. It looks like the cops are looking into the people that jammed up the highway. The double standard and the hypocrisy is just off the charts. Mm-hmm. But I posted a video from Twitter. I don't know if all of you guys watched it, but I want to share it. Look, this is disturbing to me. It's very disturbing. So I'm going to go ahead and play this here. Do me a favor, if you can't hear it for some reason, let me know so I can stop and fix it.
Okay.
They're crazy. These cars are gonna rear end you. Look.
Give me that shit, bitch.
This is a school, you dumb motherfucker!
We're in the back. They're blocking me in. That's fine. They're blocking me in. The Patriots followed me. This is their true colors. I want everyone to know they came. This is a hate crime. They're coming up to my car right now.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
I'm not scared. If I was scared, I would have left. I need everyone to see this. That's why I'm chilling right here. For what?
Oh my God.
I can't believe she got out of the car.
Yeah,
You called
she's
me what?
ballsy, man.
I got you. Queen herself. Oh my God, what the hell? Ew.
I mean,
You came strapped up like that for a 20-year-old female? Oh, you a big man. For a female, bro. For a female. He walked up to us. Come get it? Are you saying come get it? For a female. Hey! What?
That guy beats his wife.
for sure.
No, so you guys can jump me? So you can jump me?
And that bitch has at
This
least
goes for me.
7 baby daddies.
Do something!
Right, her house is hitched to one of these trucks in the parking lot here.
Yeah, for sure.
Do something! Fucking stop your fucking phone right out of your fucking
I'd say it's unbelievable, but it's really not.
It's not it's believable. It's, you know what I mean?
Really fucked up.
You stupid bitch!
Why did this occur? That's the thing I don't, because you don't see what provoked this.
Why am I
she
turned
she
on?
had
I don't know, Mounts.
they
I
started
don't know.
they started following her because she had like a Biden sticker or something.
Is
like
that why? That's what I
Yep.
was going to ask.
Biden
God.
2020.
Look at this guy. I
Oh
know.
my
that
God.
Grabbing my phone.
He's got to
She
play.
knows I grabbing my phone.
He's playing.
She reached in my car.
He's playing Army. Pew pew.
Wait, how do you know that guy's not a cop? I mean, that would.
I mean, yeah.
I think that guy might be a cop.
He's
I'm not kidding.
He's not.
No, he's not. He's dressing
He
up
could
to
be
look
off
like
duty.
one.
So I have it all on video. They sprayed us with bear mace. Can you? No, don't let them leave. They just did a felony. They created a felony.
Now this is the most disgusting part to me.
You're letting
Yeah.
them leave the scene. You're letting them leave the scene. Don't let them leave the scene. Hey, no, let me talk. Please don't let them leave the scene. They committed a crime, and I'm asking you not to let them leave the scene.
Right now, we're here because they're fighting. Okay, so we have no idea what's going on.
But you're gonna let them leave, and I'm telling you they committed a crime.
We don't have enough evidence here yet. I'm not going to take any reports of assault or anything right
Oh my God.
now. So,
But if they leave, that's
Just wait, it gets
leaving
even better.
a crime scene, right? That's fleeing the scene.
so like I said, until we have everything under control, I'm not.
Okay, I'll let you do your job. My bad. I'll let you do your job. About to leave the scene when they just committed a felony. They sprayed somebody with bear mace, and I made that very clear to both officers. But I told you I could call him, and I told you I had it on video, and I asked you not to let them leave the scene.
When he was here, when he was
That's false. We need one person talking. We need one person talking. That doesn't make any sense because somebody had mentioned on the other side of town that one of us had a gun and BPD drew their guns at us and had those men get out of the car, right? I'm telling you that I had it on video and the people are still there. I asked you, do not let them leave the scene. I told you I had it on video that they committed a felony and I could show you. I told them that we could have the victim come out and you guys are still letting them leave. Why are they able to leave the scene? I'm a victim too, but they just surrounded me. They harassed me. They just surrounded me and blocked me in the parking lot. They tried to hit my phone multiple times. I have it. I'm still live. I have all of this on live.
Holy
It's the
shit.
1776 Patriots. I know a lot of officers are on that Facebook group,
And boom.
but I'm just at the scene. I didn't say you were. I said there are a lot of officers. No.
Trying to twist her words,
Why
Yeah,
is this funny?
laughing. These men are a disgrace.
they are.
No crime has been committed.
How has a crime not been committed?
Okay, don't interrupt.
Wait.
You're gonna laugh? So you
Yes.
just told me that it was funny, right? And then you got upset at me for laughing and you just did the same.
Because I just told you they sprayed bear spray. That is a crime. You cannot spray bear spray on someone.
You got anything? You got anything?
What's your badge number? Excuse me.
1328.
No,
Wait.
One at a time. One at a time. Why you guys gotta?
Mine is 1328.
He still ain't give me his badge number.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is one of the most disturbing things that I've seen
Acting like they're gonna rear end you.
so far.
That is.
I'm just at such a loss for words.
Do we know where that was? Like what state that was in or
No, I don't know a whole lot.
the
About it.
76 that she said the name of the group. I want to go back and see if we could find the
Yeah.
name of that group. And
We
I think
have
it's
to-
interesting that I said, I think that guy was a cop. Like the way that he was shining his light, like he was trained, that guy, you could tell like he had some sort of law
Or
enforcement
he
or
watches a
military.
lot of
Or but
CSI.
but then for her to say that there's a lot of cops in that Facebook group, it's
Yeah.
possible he was a cop.
Well, here's the thing. Just on the video alone, we don't have to speculate about that guy. Look, there's so much that was wrong here. First of all, if someone's telling you that there was a crime committed against them, whether there was or wasn't as a police officer, it is your job to take a report.
Yeah,
And,
it is.
and those fucking assholes weren't even willing to take a report.
Mhm.
What we saw on video there, at the least, was harassment.
Mhm.
At the most, it was assault.
It was assault. I
And-
would say it was criminal assault. I mean, they drove her off the road, basically.
They parked her in. It was sick. And this is one of my biggest fears because I talked about this years ago, and everybody's like, no, that won't happen. You know, cops aren't partisan and stuff like that. Maybe most of them aren't, but some of them are. These clearly were. I don't care what anybody says. These cops were clearly not interested in hearing the other side. And first of all, kudos to the woman in this video. She was a better cop than all of them. She was the one controlling the scene, saying, "We need one person talking. I need your badge numbers. This is what's happening." Those cops were completely unqualified to be police officers, and it's sickening to watch. It truly is. My biggest fear, what I was saying before, is that, being that there seems to be this weighted support, the majority of police officers and law enforcement seem to support the Republican Party. Don't ask me why, but
Right.
especially Trump. My biggest fear is, like, are they going to start targeting people with political paraphernalia on their cars that don't line up with their views? And the reason I brought this up is because I heard cops. I've heard people that know police officers. I've seen people post things about cops caught on mic saying, let's go after that Bernie supporter. Let's go after that person, like giving them speeding tickets or pulling them over just to harass them because of what the stickers on their car. And if you're pretending that's not happening, especially after seeing this video, you're delusional and your head's in the sand.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and we have some comments here. Scott Gallagher said that dude was not a cop. Wags said there is nothing wrong with having multiple baby daddies. I agree with you, Wags. I was just being a little bit snarky, and there's a difference between 3 or 4 baby daddies, or even 2 and 7, like that woman clearly has.
Right. And her goal was to have 7 so she could get the child support from 7.
Yes.
In fact, she probably doesn't even know where her fucking kids are.
Guaranteed, she doesn't know where her kids are.
Yeah, that's probably the lowest of the low. And for the people that are saying, well, there's the violence on the left too. Yeah, but they're not decked out in in Joe Biden, riding with Biden gear from head to toe, including their fucking underwear. And they're not targeting people based on the stickers on their car. They're not running people off the road.
Yeah.
It's just it's not happening. It's the both sides argument. It does not. Does not apply. It's ridiculous. There's certainly things you can criticize both sides about, but when you are talking about it's a false equivalency when you're talking about violence on either side. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Was her name Karen? Brittany Becker writes, was that woman's name Karen? Yes. Her name was her first name was Karen and her last name was Karen. It was Karen. Karen.
If you're talking about the Trump supporter, not the girl that was filming it, her name was not Karen.
But kudos to her for being brave, standing up to him, filming it the whole time so that we can expose these people.
Yeah. And at 20, she was young and still had the bravery to do that. And bravo to you.
And look, I felt myself tensing up there when that guy's coming at you with the Kevlar, where it makes looking like he's carrying, which I'm sure they were. Oh man.
Yeah. I would have been petrified. I would have called 911. Like, there's no way I would have got out of that car. I would have been trying to get out of the parking lot.
Yeah.
There's no way I would have stayed.
So if you're just joining us, we're going to do a couple of these segments throughout the day. We're already, going on 40 minutes here, so we'll wrap this up soon, and we'll do another segment a little bit later on. But feel free, if you want to chime in and talk about your voting experience, what you're seeing out there, reach out to us. We will share the link with you, and you can hop on if you have a quiet place. I'm going to specify this: if you have a quiet place and a good internet connection, we'll be happy to have you on. If not, we're going to have to boot you because this is live, and we want to at least maintain some of the integrity of a decent broadcast. So a couple other things that I have here. We mentioned the long lines. Let's talk about what this means. What do you think this? We were talking a little bit about this before we went on live. Long lines. So we know what we know now is we know that there's close to 100 million early votes that have been cast already. There was 139 million total votes in the 2016 election.
Wow.
And we were speculating before today that that just means that there's going to be less people voting on election day. Or it's going to be all Republicans because they tend not to trust the mail-in voting system or the early voting system. So even if Biden does have a big lead in the early voting, which we won't know until after today's voting, so that's kind of a little bit confusing for some people. But we thought anyway, or at least some of us thought, that we were going to see a large group of Republicans voting, and it's going to look like Trump has a big lead tonight. Knowing now what we know early on, that there's these long lines almost everywhere that we look. Every experience we have, everything, every post we see on social media, these long lines, which turnout tends to favor Democrats. There still seems to be unusually high turnout, even for a presidential election, even with the record number of early votes. What does this mean? Let's go around the horn.
I can say right now that I just checked CNN. It says the race is too close to call. There's no official results yet. Just breaking that news. 12:35 p.m.
They didn't call it for Biden?
Not quite. It
Actually,
apparently...
Rachel Maddow already declared Hillary Clinton the winner.
Nice.
That was
That's
good.
who I voted for. I figured she needed a second chance, so I put my vote in for Hillary again.
Right.
I don't know. It's gonna be tough to tell because everyone talked like they were Donald Trump supporters in my hometown, but
yeah. Well, and for what it's worth, we are in an area that tends to be. Well, Berks County is on it. It can go either way. Sometimes it's I would say 50-50, as close to 50-50 as you can get. But definitely, I think Berks County leads Trump. But
right. And I did see one of your Facebook nemesises walking towards the polling station. So that means my vote was probably canceled out. But that's how that works, right? Cancel each other out.
Rick thinks that the PA is expected an initial and significant Trump lead. I would agree with you, Rick, a couple days ago, but seeing how much of a turnout there is, again, I didn't wait in line the last presidential election, and Pennsylvania went to Trump. So I was telling Leah this: did he double, triple, quadruple his support, and it's all Trump supporters at the polls right now? I can't see that. Of course, his people were always going to show up. That was never in question. But what's with again? If it was just his people showing up to the polls, these lines, we wouldn't be waiting in lines for an hour, an hour and a half.
So that
especially with all the
sway
early
me.
voting,
Yeah, and that did sway my thought a little bit when you said that, but I'm still with Rick. I just don't see at least Pennsylvania going for Biden, which is a shame because it should. Especially being that he grew up here. He's a Delaware senator. I don't know. I guess because of the people I know, and it just makes me it's disheartening. And to answer your question, it was polarizing in 2016. Don't get me wrong. Politics was polarizing, but not like it is now. So is there a chance that more Trump supporters have come out of the woodwork to support Trump just to be like, I'm a Republican, or because they believe blue lives matter, or because of the protests? We don't know the answer to that question. And I do think it is possible that he did double. COVID could have done it. People don't understand. The thing is that I don't think people really understand the truth against the propaganda that's put out there. I think there's a lot of people that still believe what the president says is what is truth. And they don't go any further to look into it. And I do think there are people that did come out and vote for Trump that didn't vote in 2016. But we won't know.
That many. Now, here I'll speak to, I'll mention another thing that I saw. So, and again, don't quote me on these numbers. I don't know them exactly. But from what I understand, and I agree with you, Wags, voting felt very different this time around. This whole process, it feels like this is it. This is the chance to save our democracy, and that's it. I never felt that way before. In fact, there's a very stiff vodka and Crystal Light in here. Already, just to calm the nerves a little bit. And one, I can do it because it's after 12 o'clock. The second reason is I'm of legal age to do it. And the third reason is because I fucking want to.
Yeah.
But one of the things I was reading is that that was worrying Democrats is that I think upwards of 3 million, over 3 million mail-in ballots were requested, but only 1 million of them, which still breaks the record, mostly because PA didn't really have access to mail-in voting unless you had a reason, and and then
right.
It's called an absentee vote. So of course they broke a record. There was no doubt about that, but still they broke they were surprised by how many mail-in ballots were requested. So over 3 million, but only 1 million of them were returned. And what I've noticed is that there were people at the polls either surrendering their ballot or they never got it and they had to fill out a provisional ballot. So I'm thinking that's the reason why they weren't returned, obviously. So that's another big reason why they're at the polls now, which is that would be good news for Democrats as well. The more turnout, the better for Democrats. That's how it's always been. It's how it's going to be for the foreseeable future. So
True.
let's see here. Rick, his polling place failed the eye test for progressive thinking. The early ballots will tip the scales later in the day. That's the hope. I'm just hoping that it's very close. I'm not saying Trump isn't going to be in the lead. I just don't think it's going to be a monstrous lead. I'm hoping that it's close with the in-person voting, and then the early voting throws Joe Biden way ahead.
I hope so.
That's my guess.
Quick prediction. Does anybody think that we'll have any projected numbers by tonight? Will we be able to have a clear-cut vision by midnight or whatever who the president is going to be?
I can see them projecting it. We have the same technology we had every year. It's just the point that Trump won't accept that.
Okay, so you think we will have numbers?
I can see the numbers coming in. They can do. I mean, now with the unprecedented mail-in voting, that could throw a wrench in it. But I don't see why they still couldn't predict like they've done every election that I've been a part of. It's the fact that he won't accept that because that's the way it is.
Unless he's winning, then he
Unless,
may accept it. Yeah.
Well, if he's already said if he's winning, even though it won't be official, he's going to declare victory. Which is very, very scary. Here's my prediction. I feel like we are going to have a good idea late tonight. I don't think any of the news stations are going to be comfortable calling it for sure. That's just a guess. However, here's my prediction. I think a lot of this hinges on Florida and Pennsylvania. We already know that Pennsylvania is a mess when it comes to early voting. Florida, however, is not. They've been doing this a while, and they allow their early votes, the mail-in votes. They started counting them. Nobody knows who won, but they've already been counted, the ones that they've received. So it's not going to take as long for them to produce those results. And we can thank 2000 for that.
Yeah, I was about to say
they were a mess.
Yeah.
So here's my prediction: if Florida, and it's a very close race according to the polls, if Florida is called tonight and it goes for Biden, we can assume that Biden's going to win this election because Trump needs Florida and Pennsylvania. He could win with either or, but it's virtually impossible. If he wins both, Trump is almost assured to win.
Right.
I read somewhere that if Biden takes Texas,
sorry, I'm just laughing at Rick's comment. I actually interned during the summer as a Civil War reenactment guy. So I left. I kept my uniform, which they took out of my paycheck, but I still have that. I don't fit it in anymore. My stomach hangs out over the top, but I'm gonna wear that.
I'm gonna dress like Michonne from The Walking Dead. I'm gonna have a big, sword. I'm gonna have the bandana, dreadlocks. That's gonna be me. I read that if Biden takes Texas, that he doesn't need Pennsylvania or Florida.
Well, that's true. I'm just assuming he won't take Texas. It's going to be
me too.
Texas and Georgia are inching closer to blue every year, every election cycle. But they work so hard to suppress the vote there that it just seems to make it impossible. But if Biden takes Texas or Georgia, it's over. Like there's no chance for Trump without those two states.
Right.
There's no chance. No chance. Okay, unless anybody has anything else to add, let's call it here for this first segment. And it's 1:45. What do you guys say we hop on again like 2:30?
Okay.
Well, Leah, did you vote yet?
No, I was going to go do that now. So if I can hop on, great. If not, I'll just, I'm going to take my microphone, see how it goes.
Okay, so we will see.
Well, it's not going to be plugged in. You can't if you're taking your microphone. Is it going to reach all the way to the? I'm just kidding. It's not going to reach all the way to the polling place.
And another dad joke. You hear them all. right here on the Evervolley. For non jokes, you can tune into Pookie in Paradise or Moms of Mayhem. Anyway, we will see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys in a little bit. Get out there and vote. If you want to share your experience, reach out to us either on the social media pages or the email. It's probably easier to email White Horse Media Group LLC@gmail.com. I check that more often. But we will see you in about an hour and a half. And until then, keep yourself sane.